There are moments in life when you suddenly realize just how much you've been taken for granted. This was one of those moments. It all started when my family invited me out for a dinner gathering. Normally, I don't mind covering the bill. My parents are getting older and don't have as much money to spare. And my sister, well, she's always had a talent for freeloading. I usually let it slide. But this time, things were different. The restaurant they picked was insanely expensive, the kind of place where a single drink costs more than a week's worth of groceries. At first, I shrugged it off. It's just one night, I told myself. I can afford it. No big deal. The atmosphere was fancy, the lighting dim and elegant, and for a moment, I thought maybe this would be a nice evening. Then, the waiter arrived to take our orders. That's when things started to spiral. My sister, ever the entitled one, leaned back in her chair and smirked. "Wow, you're so lucky," she said, loud enough for the whole table to hear. "We should have brought a suitcase to carry all your cash in." Everyone laughed. Even my parents chuckled, like it was some long-running family joke. But something about it felt off, like it wasn't just a joke, but a reminder. A reminder that in their eyes, I wasn't really family. I was the wallet. I tried to brush it off. Maybe they were just in a playful mood. But then the orders started rolling in. My sister picked the most expensive steak on the menu, complete with premium sides that cost as much as an entire meal. My parents followed suit, choosing extravagant dishes without a second thought. My brother, never one to hold back, ordered an over-the-top seafood platter that I was pretty sure wasn't even in season. I watched the bill skyrocket before my eyes. A part of me wanted to say something. "Are you serious? Do you really think I'm okay with this?" But I kept quiet, forcing a smile, trying not to make a scene. Maybe they just got carried away. Maybe they weren't thinking. Then my sister turned to me, flashing her usual smug grin. "Don't worry, you got this, right? You're just the wallet after all." Laughter erupted around the table again. That was it. Something inside me snapped. I kept my expression calm, my smile unwavering. "Of course," I said smoothly. "I've got this." And then, without another word, I pulled out my phone, dialed a number, and made a quick call. "Where are you going?" my sister asked, still giggling. I met her gaze and gave her a slow, deliberate smile. "Oh, don't worry," I said, standing up. "You'll find out soon enough." Then, I walked out of the restaurant. And that's when everything changed. I walked out of the restaurant, feeling the weight of my decision settle in. The cool night air hit me as I stepped onto the sidewalk, but inside, I was boiling. Years of being treated like a walking ATM had finally reached a breaking point. They had no idea what was coming. I didn't drive away immediately. Instead, I leaned against my car, phone in hand, waiting. I knew it wouldn't take long. Sure enough, 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed. It was my sister. "What the hell? Are you coming back?" She snapped the moment I picked up, her voice high-pitched with irritation. I let the silence stretch for a few seconds before answering, my voice calm but cold. "Did you think I was joking when I said I'd handle it?" I could hear the muffled voices in the background, my dad demanding to know what was going on, my mom whispering nervously. The tension at their table must have been palpable. "What do you mean handle it?" my sister asked, her voice laced with unease. "You just left. You can't leave us with the bill." I smirked. "I didn't leave you with the bill," I said. "I just called in a favor." Silence. And then, panic. "What favor?" I could almost hear her heartbeat quicken. "You remember that investment opportunity I mentioned a while back?" I asked casually. "What does that have to do with anything?" "Stop playing games." I sighed dramatically. "Let's just say the restaurant owner is a business acquaintance of mine. The manager knows exactly who to call if there's an issue with payment." Another beat of silence. Then a choked, "Are you serious?" I could hear my mom now, her voice rising in concern. "What's happening? What did he do?" I chuckled softly, enjoying the moment. "You should be getting a call from the restaurant soon." Right on cue, my phone vibrated again. This time, it wasn't my sister. It was the restaurant manager. I picked up, already knowing what was coming. "Hi, is this my name?" The manager's voice was polite but firm. "We've just been notified that you've placed a hold on the payment for your family's dinner. We've had to call them to settle the bill. And, well, your sister looks a little surprised." I couldn't help but laugh. "Yeah, that sounds about right. Look, we're not trying to cause trouble," the manager continued, "but if you don't release the hold, someone needs to pay soon. Otherwise, we'll have to charge a late fee." I leaned back against my car, feeling a strange sense of satisfaction. "You know what?" I said, voice dripping with amusement. "Let them sort it out. I'm done." The manager hesitated but then sighed. "Understood. Thanks for your cooperation." I hung up, taking a deep breath. For the first time in years, I wasn't the one cleaning up their mess. But I knew this wasn't over. Not yet. Just as I expected, my phone started exploding with messages. First, my brother, "Are you serious? You just left us here with this mess? What the hell is wrong with you?" Then my mom, "What did you do? Why did you leave like that? This isn't funny." And my dad, "You've got some nerve treating your family this way. We were just trying to have a nice dinner, and you pulled this stunt?" But the one that made me laugh the hardest? My sister, "I can't believe you. You ruined everything. This is embarrassing. Why are you just doing this out of spite?" I left the text unread. Instead, I got in my car, turned on the engine, and drove away. For the first time, I wasn't playing their game anymore. But I had a feeling the real fallout was just beginning. I had barely driven halfway home when my phone buzzed again. Another call this time. From my brother. I sighed, debating whether to ignore it. But curiosity got the better of me. I picked up. "Are you serious?" He snapped the second I answered. "You just left us here with this mess? What the hell is wrong with you?" I stayed silent for a moment, letting his frustration settle before responding. "Oh, I don't know," I said dryly. "Maybe I just got tired of being your personal bank." He exhaled sharply. "Look, I get that you're mad, but you went too far. The restaurant called us over to the front desk like we were criminals. They basically told us we had to pay or deal with consequences." I leaned back in my seat, gripping the steering wheel. And? His voice was incredulous. "We weren't prepared for this. Mom and Dad didn't bring enough cash, and you know our sister wasn't about to offer anything. Now everyone's pissed at you." I chuckled. "Oh no, how terrible. Guess you'll all have to figure out how to pay for your own food like normal adults." Silence. Then, a bitter laugh from my brother. "You think this is funny? You've really lost it." "No," I said, my tone serious now. "What's funny is that for years, I let this happen. And the one time I stand up for myself, suddenly I'm the villain." There was another pause. Then, more quietly, he said, "You know, Mom is crying." I closed my eyes, forcing down the twinge of guilt. "Yeah? Well, maybe she should have thought about that before she laughed along while I was being humiliated." My brother sighed, clearly frustrated. "Look, I'm not saying you don't have a point, but this isn't the way to handle it. You're just making things worse." I clenched my jaw. "No. What's made things worse is years of being used and expected to just take it. I'm done with that." I ended the call before he could respond. My phone immediately buzzed again, a message from my sister this time. "Sister, you've ruined everything. This is embarrassing. You're just going to let us suffer over your stupid little revenge?" I ignored it. Another text followed from my mom. "Mom, I can't believe you did this to your father and me. After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us." And finally, one from my dad. "Dad, you think this is the way family should treat each other? I'm so disappointed in you." I sat in silence for a long moment, staring at the messages. For years, I had been the good one. The one who always paid. The one who always picked up the slack. The one who was expected to keep the peace while they took advantage of me. But now? Now they were seeing what happened when I stopped playing along. I placed my phone on the passenger seat and kept driving, my chest lighter than it had been in years. For the first time, I wasn't the one cleaning up their mess. But something told me they weren't done with me yet. For the next hour, my phone kept buzzing messages, missed calls, voicemails. I ignored them all. I knew how this worked. They weren't worried about me. They weren't concerned about why I had finally snapped. They were angry that I had broken the cycle. That I had refused to be their wallet for once. By the time I got home, the silence felt deafening. No messages, no calls, nothing. For a brief moment, I thought maybe, just maybe, they had given up. I should have known better. Because the next thing I heard? A knock at my door. I sighed, already knowing who it was. I hesitated before opening it, mentally preparing for the storm. And there they were, my parents, my brother, and my sister. They stood on my doorstep, looking exhausted, irritated, and if I wasn't mistaken, a little desperate. "We need to talk." My mom's voice was strained, but there was no anger in it. Not yet. I crossed my arms, blocking the doorway. "Oh? About what? The bill you were all so confident I'd cover?" My dad exhaled sharply. "We're not here to fight. But you don't just walk away from family like that." I let out a dry laugh. "Funny. Because I seem to remember all of you laughing at my expense, just a few hours ago." My sister scoffed. "You're seriously still mad about that? It was a joke. You're overreacting." I felt something snap inside me. "Overreacting?" I repeated, my voice eerily calm. "You expect me to cover your extravagant dinner, call me a walking ATM, humiliate me, and then just, what? Shut up and take it." My mom's eyes softened. Honey, that's not what we meant. We never wanted you to feel that way. I almost believed her. Almost. But I had spent years being guilt-tripped. I knew this game too well. And yet, I said slowly, you did nothing while it was happening. You laughed. You let it continue. Silence. Then my dad spoke, his voice firm. We're family. We're supposed to take care of each other. I let out a bitter chuckle. Oh, I know. I've been taking care of you for years. But tell me, when was the last time any of you took care of me? More silence. Then my sister lost it. You're acting like a victim, she snapped. We've never forced you to pay for anything. If you hated it so much, why didn't you just say no? I took a slow breath, keeping my voice even. I did, tonight. And look where we are. She rolled her eyes. You didn't have to humiliate us. You could have handled it better. Oh, you mean like how you handled it at dinner? I shot back, laughing at me, calling me the wallet. Making it clear that in this family, I'm only useful as long as I'm paying? Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Because she knew. She knew I was right. For the first time ever, they all knew. My brother rubbed his temples. This is getting out of hand. We need to find a way to fix this. I shook my head. No. I spent years fixing things. Now? You all can figure it out. My mom stepped forward, holding something in her hands, a photo album. She placed it on the table just inside my doorway. We got this for you, she said softly. I stared at it. A lifetime of family memories, neatly packed between two worn covers. And for the first time in a long time, I felt nothing. You think a photo album is going to fix this? My voice was hollow. My dad's expression hardened. This is your family. You can't just walk away. I looked each of them in the eye, unshaken. Watch me. I stepped back and shut the door in their faces. I stood there, my back pressed against the door, listening to the muffled voices outside. For a few moments, they didn't leave. I could hear my mom sighing heavily, my sister muttering under her breath, my dad grumbling something about family loyalty. But I didn't care. I had spent years carrying them, fixing their problems, paying their bills, and sacrificing my own peace for their comfort. And for what? So they could mock me? So they could guilt-trip me into playing my role again? Not this time. Not anymore. After a few minutes, I heard footsteps retreating. Then, silence. For the first time in a long time, my house felt peaceful. I walked over to the table and stared at the photo album they had left behind. Memories of birthdays, holidays, vacations, moments that were supposed to mean something. And maybe, once upon a time, they had. But now? Now, they were just pictures of a past that no longer existed. With a deep breath, I picked up the album, walked over to my closet, and shoved it onto the highest shelf, out of sight, out of mind. I wasn't looking back. I wasn't coming back. For the next few days, my phone stayed silent. No texts, no calls, no guilt-tripping messages. At first, I thought maybe they had finally accepted it. But deep down, I knew better. This was just the calm before the storm. And sure enough, one morning, I woke up to a new text from my sister. Sister, so, is this it? You're really done with us? I stared at the message for a long moment. I could feel the weight of the question, the finality of it. And then, I made my decision. I blocked her number. Then, one by one, I blocked all of them. My parents, my brother, every single person who had used me, taken me for granted, and expected me to stay quiet about it. I wasn't waiting for an apology. I wasn't waiting for them to understand me. Because the truth was they never would. People like that don't change until they have to. And I was done waiting. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the wallet. I wasn't the fixer. I wasn't the backup plan. I was just me. And that was enough. Looking back, I realized something important. People will take advantage of you for as long as you let them. I spent years giving and giving, hoping one day they would appreciate me. But some people don't appreciate kindness, they exploit it. You don't owe anyone your peace, not even family. For so long, I believed that family comes first, that no matter what, I had to put their needs ahead of my own. But that's a toxic mindset. Being related by blood doesn't mean I have to tolerate manipulation, guilt-tripping, or disrespect. It's okay to walk away. Some people will never see your worth. And that's okay. Because at the end of the day, I see it now. And that's all that matters. So, was I wrong for cutting them off? Should I have given them another chance? Let me know what you think in the comments below. But as for me, I have no regrets. And for the first time ever, I'm free.